The biggest things in the world, starting off at number 10 with people. Robert Pershing Wadlow, also known as the Alton Giant and the Giant of Illinois, was an American who became famous as the tallest person in recorded history for whom there is irrefutable evidence. He reached 8 feet 11 inches tall and weighed 439 pounds at his death at the young age of 22. His great size and continued growth in adulthood were due to his hyperplasia of his pituitary gland, which results in abnormally high levels of human growth hormone. He showed no indication of an end to his growth even at the time of his death. As Wadlow's size began to take its toll, he required leg braces to walk and had little feeling in his legs and feet. He never used a wheelchair despite these difficulties. He became a celebrity in 1936 after a tour with the Ringling Brothers Circus. He was always in the center ring and never in the sideshow. Number 9, people are pretty big, but what about other creatures? The biggest creature is the sequoia. Common names for the plant include coast redwood and California redwood. It's an evergreen, a long-lived tree living 1,200 to 1,800 years or more. This species is the tallest living tree on Earth, reaching up to 379 feet, without counting the roots, and up to 29 feet in diameter. In volume, they're the largest living creature on Earth at the moment. These trees are also the oldest living things on Earth. Before commercial logging, this tree occurred naturally in about 2 million acres. And they are endangered. God, I love looking at these trees. They're so beautiful. They're resistant to insect attack, fungal infection, and rot. None of the insect infections that can infect them are capable of killing a healthy tree. Black bears apparently consume the inner bark of small redwoods, and red-tailed deer are known to eat redwood sprouts. The oldest known redwood is 2,200 years old. The thick, fibrous bark of coast redwoods is extremely fire-resistant. If damaged by fire, a redwood sprouts new branches or even entirely new crowns. And if the parent tree is killed, new buds sprout from its base. Now, the sequoia trees are the largest single regular organism, but when you get into weird organisms, you get something like number 8, Pando. Pando is a superorganism, much like a colony of ants or bees, but you wouldn't consider a colony of ants one animal, would you? Well, Pando is different. Pando is a colonial colony of individual male quaking aspirin, determined to be a single living organism by identical genetic markers. They have one massive underground root system. This plant is located in the Fremont River Ranger District of the Fish Lake National Forest at the western edge of the Colorado Plateau in south-central Utah. That's a mouthful. Pando occupies 106 acres and is estimated to weigh collectively 6 million kilograms, making it the heaviest known organism as well. The root system of Pando is 80,000 years old, making it also among the oldest known organisms. Pando is currently thought to be dying. The exact reasons are not known. It's due to a combination of factors including drought, grazing, and fire suppression. Human interference is claimed as the primary cause that Pando has not grown in the last 30 to 40 years. So Pando's pretty big, but I know something that could kill it. I mean, besides collective humanity. Number 7, the biggest land vehicle, Bagger 288. Bagger 288 was built by the German company Krupp for mining. It's a bucket wheel excavator or mobile strip mining machine. It was completed in 1978, and it superseded the previous heaviest land vehicle in the world, weighing 13,500 tons. It took 5 years to design and manufacture, and 5 years to assemble, with total costs reaching $100 million. While NASA's Crawler Transporter is the largest self-propelled land vehicle in the world, this, even though it has an external power source, is still the biggest land vehicle by any physical dimension. Bagger 288 was built for the job of removing overburden before coal mining. It can excavate 240,000 tons of coal daily, equivalent to a football field dug 30 meters deep. The coal produced in one day fills 2,400 coal wagons. It requires 5 people to pilot at any one time. So Bagger 288 is pretty big. But how did they get the pieces over here? Number 6, the largest sea vehicle, and vehicle by that extension, the Prelude FLNG. Prelude FLNG is the world's largest floating liquefied natural gas platform, as well as the largest offshore facility ever constructed. It measures 1,600 feet long, 240 feet wide, and was made with more than 260,000 tons of steel. At full load, it displaces more than 600,000 tons, more than 5 times the displacement of an aircraft aircraft carrier. Analyst estimates for 2013 for the cost of the vessel were between 10 and 12 billion. It has a planned life expectancy of only 25 years. The system is designed to withstand Category 5 cyclones, although workers may be evacuated just in case before. It became operational this year, or will very shortly. I don't know when this video is going to be released. But they had to make this boat somewhere in some kind of building or shipyard, right? Which leads us to number 5, the biggest building in the world. The Boeing Everett Factory in Everett, Washington. It's an airplane assembly building owned by Boeing, located on the northeast corner of Payne Field. It's the largest building in the world by volume, at 13,385,000 cubic meters and covering almost 100 acres. This is the factory where the wide-body Boeing 747, 767, 777, and 787 are assembled. Plans for the factory were announced in 1966. Boeing was awarded a $525 million contract from Pan American World Airways to build 25 747s. In 1986, it began offering factory tours with the first rollout of the 747. Over 150,000 people visit the Everett site each year. The Everett factory employs over 30,000 people, including its own fire department, security team, daycare center, coffee shop, and fitness center. It's basically its own town. Aircraft are delivered as whole from the airport, adjacent and south of the plant. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Mitch, there's nothing bigger than the biggest building. You lose. Oh, you stupid idiot. Number 4, the Great Wall of China. You think that's the biggest building? Maybe with an interior, maybe by volume, but the Great Wall of China is a great wall. It's 13,000 miles long, dickhead, okay? So why don't you back off? You think your little Everett facility is 13,000 miles long? I don't think so. The Great Wall was rebuilt, maintained, and enhanced over various dynasties. The majority of the existing wall is from the Ming Dynasty. Well, Mitch, this is just a wall. It doesn't have a function other than being a wall. Wrong! Apart from defense, other purposes of the Great Wall have been border patrols, the imposition of duties on goods, regulation or encouragement of trade, and the control of immigration and emigration. Much like a wall, it has troop barracks, watchtowers, garrison stations, and signaling capabilities through the means of smoke or fire. The wall, with all of its branches, measures out to be 13,000 miles long. So it's the biggest man-made thing I could find. But wait a minute, big man-made things have to be made out of something, and those things are called, what do we take granted from? Mountains? Number 3, the biggest mountain, the Mauna Kea. I think it's Hawaiian, sorry. You probably thought it was Mount Everest, but that's the tallest mountain. Mauna Kea is the biggest mountain. It's a dormant volcano on the island of Hawaii. Its peak is 13,800 feet above sea level, making it the highest point in the state of Hawaii. Most of the mountain, however, is underwater, and when measured from its oceanic base, it becomes the tallest mountain in the world, measuring over 33,000 feet. It's about 1 million years old, and is thus past the most active shield stage of life hundreds of thousands of years ago. In Hawaiian mythology, the peaks of the island of Hawaii are sacred, and ancient law allowed only high-ranking alii, I think, to visit its peak. Ancient Hawaiians living on the slopes of Mauna Kea relied on its extensive forests for food and quarreled with the dense volcano-glacial basalts on its flanks for tool production. When Europeans arrived in the 18th century, settlers introduced cattle, sheep, and game animals, many of which became feral and began to damage the mountain's ecological balance. Nice job, Whitey! But wait a minute, what are mountains attached to? Those things at the bottom of the ocean? Number 2, the biggest continents. I mean, it's obviously Asia. Asia has the most people and is the biggest, so no matter how you measure it, it's the big boy. It takes up 17 million square miles, but you know what? Both the Americas added together are right behind it, so it's not that big. Its nominal GDP is $30 trillion as of 2018. It takes up about 30% of Earth's total land area and 8.7% of the Earth's total surface. The continent was the site of many of the first civilizations. Asia is notable not only for its large size, but also for its dense and large settlements, as well as vast, barely populated regions. Its 4.5 billion people constitute roughly 60% of the world's population. But wait a minute, what did I hear earlier? 8.7% of the Earth's total surface area? Well then, what takes up more space than the biggest continent in the world? Number 1, the biggest ocean in the world, the Pacific Ocean. I dare you to find something larger than the Pacific Ocean.